Hi everybody, it's me, Pat. I hope you can hear me. It looks like my mic is on. If it's not on, send me a thumbs down. If it is on, waves are good. Waves will do. So, gonna wait just a second and we'll start. I'm gonna invite Leslie Boost on today, as you might have seen in our stories. Because she has a little bit different of a story. My Instagram account was hacked and hers was disabled, and she has no idea why that happened. So I think that would be valuable. I have heard that sometimes if Instagram detects some kind of activity that seems bot-like or robot-like. I know what happened to Betty Franks, that all of a sudden she got all these followers overnight and it was more than usual, and so they disabled her. But it was in fact a hack. And thank you, Laura. And so that is a very frustrating situation when you're disabled and you really don't know what you did and they just shut you off, cut you off. As with me, I shared my journey, and I will share it again after Leslie gets on and tells you gives you some very valuable information as to what you can do to prepare for the worst case scenario. But we're hoping that will help you, protect your accounts and, what to look out for. It's unfortunate that we can't really be Mr. and Mrs. Nice Guy to everybody who reaches out to us. My mistake is that it wasn't just once, it was twice that I was duped. The first time was when someone wanted a commission piece, and it was a long story, a long relationship developed. I could see that the person had an account on Facebook that had been long-standing, as well as one on Instagram that had been long-standing. And supposedly she was a nurse, so she wasn't able to take phone calls in the day when I started saying, I'd really like to talk to you. So they overpaid is the situation. And of course, being a person of integrity, and you have to be a person of integrity, because it's no point in making one sale and then, not having any goodwill or trust, because it's all about trust on here. Your people are dealing with you and they've not met you, and they're looking at your art and they're buying it online. And so, they're trusting you that they're going to pay you and you're going to send them the art. So I was like, oh yes, absolutely. You overpaid. I'll absolutely get you this money back. And in getting the money back, I got hacked, and everything looked fine until the bank said that was a fraudulent check and they deducted it from my account. So I lost $2,500 in that transaction. So at that point, I said, okay, I'm going to roll. It's only money. I had no recourse. I tried. I went through all the regular channels, but I was not able to recover it. So moving on, I just went back to business as usual. And I often have people ask me for help. When you have a lot of followers, everybody asks you for help, and everybody thinks that they're the only one that needs the help. And it's very hard. And so I said no to a lot of people, and I said yes to one. And that was the wrong one. And I was immediately hacked by saying that I would just screenshot their link. I didn't even have to press the link, and they were in. So I was immediately locked out of my account, and they had rerouted my email and my phone number. So when I was trying to authenticate, when I was trying immediately to get to Instagram and say my account has been compromised, all of the communications were going to the hackers. And so I was not getting any response from Instagram. I thought maybe they were backlogged. And so as more time goes by, the deeper it goes. So we just want to keep getting on here, not to, rain on your parade, but we want to help protect you. I don't have a really big reach anymore. So it's not like I can get on here and, possibly 73,000 people or even a quarter of that are going to hear this. So we are very reliant, Leslie and I, to ask you to share this. This is not about artists competing with artists, okay? I've had, Betty Krause has helped me a lot. Betty Franks has helped me a lot. And I really, really appreciate it. I've reached out to some other large accounts and I've just not gotten any answers. I'm not asking them to send me their followers. I'm not asking, we seem like we were friends, but I'm asking them to get the word out to protect the community, not to take any messages from my old account at Pat Butinsky Art Talk, and instead to report it and block it. So I don't get that. I know that I got in trouble because I was helping people, but I can tell you, if it was a big thing like this and somebody reached out to me, yeah, I would help you. And one of the first people that reached out to me was Leslie, and she shared her situation with me, and she also helped me behind the scenes to take some particular, I'm not going to say how she did it, but she did save some of my information on my old account that I could no longer see because I don't even have the conversations. Laura, Bitcoin is one thing. Otherwise, they'll get on and they'll ask you about a clothing line. It's a lot of things. So I'm not going to segue into all the different ways that they can get you, but they will ask you for some kind of help. They will ask you to authenticate, to help them get their blue seal. They will ask you to help them apply for a grant or for, as a student to be accepted to something. And so, and they're often people that you may converse with fairly often, because once they hack into one account, they can see who you converse with and they get a real vibe for how you talk and interact. So it's just anything from Pat Butinsky Art Talk, okay? Or at your get your Cray activity on. They have both. Do not respond. Block them, delete the conversation, and report it. Okay? So anyway, I'm going to call Leslie on to introduce her, who she's been around for quite a while, and she's a delight. And hopefully I'll get this right. So, Leslie. Come on. There she is.
Hi, Pat.
Hi, Leslie. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks
For everything that you've done behind the scenes to help me.
My pleasure. Pat suggested that I joined, and I'm really grateful that she's asked me to come on as a guest because, like Pat, we've probably learned a lot, haven't we, Pat, since what's happened to us. So I wanted to share it, and like Pat, I no longer have the following that I did have, so we're sharing it to very few people. Unlike Pat, for you, Pat, was far worse than for me because you had 85,000 followers.
Not 70 some, but it's just numbers at this point.
And I had 16K followers.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Well, it's a lot. It's when you
build up.
When you spent 4 years building that up.
Yes.
And then it's like gone. It was literally there 1 minute and gone the next. And I don't even know why. it's a bitter pill, isn't it? It's a bitter pill to take. So,
Yes.
so I've learnt this was, I think now, probably about 6 weeks ago, maybe.
Can I ask you a question? I just want to ask you a question to maybe clarify something. So what happened? Did you all of a sudden, turn your account on, or go to, go as like Life in General post or something, and then you found that you couldn't get into your account or find your account? Or did it happen like in the middle of your day, in the middle of working?
Firstly, I was actually at the time, I had put a giveaway on my account. Since this has happened, I think you have to be very careful with giveaways. I thought I had done everything correctly. I had stated who the sponsor was. I had said when the competition ended, when we were drawing it, etc., etc. So as far as I'm aware, I didn't do anything wrong. It may just be coincidence that the site was disabled at this time. I don't know. I don't know why it was disabled.
Did you say that Instagram was in no way involved?
That I'm not sure. That's the one thing, of course, I can't get back into it to say. I may have said it on one post and not on the second post, or that is my only thought. But what happened was that I was on it, say, lunchtime, and I went to go back on again at, say, 6 p.m. in the evening, and it asked me to log in, which obviously normally you just go straight in. And I thought that was strange, and I went to log in, and it just said, sorry, your account's been disabled, which was a shock. Then if you look at, and you panic, probably like you, the first thing is panic, isn't it? You think, why? What's happened? Mm-hmm. And you start then panicking, and you're on the internet and trying to research it and trying to find out what's happened. And probably the same for you. You have a process that you can go through to appeal, which I did. But Instagram is notoriously bad at responding. And so I didn't expect to have a response immediately, but I hoped I would get one eventually. And I would send this email maybe every day for 3 weeks, and no response at all, no confirmation of receipt, no response at all, never had. And occasionally I'll send one again, but I've just begun to accept that the account's gone. But if I can tell you, when it said that my account was disabled, it said some of the things, I'm just reading this here that I've written down. Let
me interrupt you one more time. I'm going to disable the comments for now, because if I can, so that they can see you.
Okay. Oh, do they really need to?
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
And you guys can, we'll turn them back on. But for now, I want you to tell your story. The other thing I want to say is, so with the giveaways, we just want to reiterate that you make sure that you say this is in no way sponsored by Instagram. We don't know all the details, but we would suggest that you Google that if you're going to do a giveaway, especially if you're partnering with a product sponsor.
Definitely.
Okay, because they're making, and we used to give away all the time. We did that every time we reached a new milestone. We gave stuff away. It wasn't a big deal, but now it is.
And you may remember that the actual thing that I was promoting, which was a stand for videoing your things like lives and
that
video,
phone, that very cool phone holder.
I wanted to tell them everybody about it because it's such a really fantastic product. It isn't because I was doing it for the promotion. I was doing it for the followers so that they would be interested, see how, so many people ask you what equipment you use.
Yes.
And so I got the giveaway for them. And then I was the one that was punished because I obviously, I don't know if that's the reason. I can only assume that was the reason. Right. Because when I looked it up, it said some of the things we don't allow include artificially collecting likes, followers, or shares, which I have never done, never. Yeah. All my
I got a message like that too.
All my
artificial
followers were organic,
Mhm.
and it took a long time to get them. It said posting repetitive content or repeatedly contacting people for commercial purposes without their consent. Again, I have never, ever done that, so it couldn't have been that. And I'm just checking. The third reason was, oh no, that was it. 2 reasons, which I've never done. So then it gives you they say if you think it was a mistake, you can let them know and they'll look into it, which is what I did, but never any response. And it's hard, isn't it? Because even if that was the reason, because I'd done something wrong in the giveaway, like not putting that I wasn't affiliated with this, it had nothing to do with Instagram. You could understand if they punished you by suspending you or something for a while and telling you what you've done wrong.
Exactly.
To completely wipe your account instantly. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Without a word,
No,
even
no.
even a teaching, with sending you a document about the proper way to conduct a giveaway,
Mm, mm.
you know.
So I can only assume that was the reason. And obviously, if that's the case, then it is my own fault. I don't know if that was the case. But when you're going back to bots, I do, and I'm sure everybody has, lots of followers that come on, and you might get a stream of them come, of
Yeah.
5 or 10, literally one after the other, who haven't liked anything.
Yeah.
They haven't, I don't think they've even looked at the post. They've just
Right.
come on and liked, and followed. And I'm sure from everything I've read that they're bots, but how can you avoid people doing that? And then if I get 50 people, which I've never had 50, but say you had 20 people come on all at once and follow you, that sends a signal to Instagram that you've got bots following you. But that's not your fault, is it? You can't avoid that. How can you
Yeah.
avoid that?
Well, I don't think that they read it as the bots following you. They read it as that you may, like you said, have purchased,
Exactly.
illegal likes, not authentic likes, and it's a really bad system
It
because,
is.
like I said, that's exactly what happened to Betty. And like Betty, with 133K people, she doesn't need to purchase likes or followers, and so it's a very bad system, and we're trying to keep this as positive as possible. But the thing is that, when it first happens to you, you're devastated and you're going to cry and you're going to try to figure out what happened or what you're going to do next, because it's just like somebody came into your, reality store and robbed everything there, and kidnapped everybody in your family, and then they took over your store,
Yeah.
and the police didn't do anything about it, and now they're running your shop.
Mm.
It's exactly like that.
It is. It's very soul destroying. And probably like you, my first reaction was, well, what's the point in carrying on? I might just as well give up. I've spent 4 years getting to this stage, and now it's gone, just like that. But then when you calm down and you start to think about it, my reaction was, well, I'm not going to let it beat me. I'll come back and start all over again, which is what I'm trying to do, is to start all over again. But it's much harder now, I think, with Instagram. Instagram makes it harder for everybody. It's much more difficult, I think, than it used to be.
It's not really organic anymore. It really has to do with the algorithm, and if you're doing their dance, and essentially, we're on their platform and we're bringing the content and we're doing the dance, and now we have to do it their way because they want to compete with TikTok. And so, which I think is a mistake, because they had something so unique to them that I think they were way better off staying with their niche, which was big and good and different, because maybe not everybody wants to go on and have their eyes bugged out, with just one, frenetic reel after another. And what we had was a really beautiful, high standard art community here.
That's right.
It was like an art movement almost. And everybody that was involved with it was very supportive of one another. And we grew it out of relationship. And not like, you know, did I do enough dances, or did I do enough lives, or did I do enough this for rewards, you know? And after a while, we're artists. The art starts to suffer because you have to spend all this time now becoming a videographer.
And unfortunately, there's no similar alternative that you can turn to. But going back to what I have learned from this big mistake, or this big wipe of my account, and these are the things that I wanted to share with people, which is why I was happy that you'd asked me to chat.
So take notes, everybody. Take
yeah.
notes. Take notes now. This is important.
Okay, so for me, apart from losing your followers, which is, as I said, a bitter pill to take, it was losing all my saves, because you save things for different reasons. You might, like for an artist, I might save something because I like the colours in a photograph and I want to remember those colours. So I might save it, and I've got a folder called colours, and I would have saved it in my colours folder. Or you might have saved a technique, for instance, that you may have seen. So I had all these different folders, which again is all gone. I've lost all that lovely information that so many artists have shared, because they are such a sharing community. It's all gone, and I probably won't be able to find those things ever again, because they just crop up and you see them and you save them. So that was one thing that I was very upset about losing. I lost all my direct messages. So lots of contacts of people that have bought art from me, their email addresses or their names, and
you can't even remember them. Sometimes you remember their names, but you don't remember their IG handle.
No.
So you don't even know, like how do I get in contact with these people?
Nothing. And it's difficult. Yeah, I mean, I only had 15k followers, and there's no way, or 16k. I can't remember 16,000 people. I probably remembered maybe 100. And I managed to contact those through direct messaging and saying, my account's been disabled, I've now started a new account, please follow me. And going back to the sharing community, which artists, I believe, are very sharing, lots of the artists that I knew helped me by sharing on their stories that I had lost my account with my new account details. And that made a big difference. You know, that maybe gained me another, I'm guessing, a couple of hundred of my original followers back, who had seen it on yours or Betty's or, you know, other artists that had shared it for me. So that was a great...
But by the same token, it also helps to protect them, to know that these kind of things happen, and to hear your story so that they can avoid being victimized, really.
So that was wonderful. And so that's one of... So, okay, my scenario is, say the same thing happens to you. This is, I'm talking to everybody that's watching. Say the same thing happens to you, and you go to your account one day and it's gone for whatever reason. It's been hacked, like Pat's, or like mine, it's been disabled and it's gone. I then had nothing. I had none of my contacts from direct message. I had none of my saves. I had none of the information that I had put in my Instagram posts. I mean, I had my titles of my paintings.
Yes.
I had the measurements of my paintings, the price of my paintings. And although I have those things elsewhere, that was all in one place for me. I always had that. It was my reference that I could look back for all those details when I was maybe advertising a painting that I'd already advertised or shown on Instagram. I could just go to my Instagram account, find those details, and then I could add it to my website. It was all there. Right. That's all gone. I no longer have that. And so one of the things that I wanted to say was for people that haven't had this happen to them yet, is to not just rely on Instagram for saving all your information. So for instance, if you see a colour, a picture or a photo that somebody's put on there and you like the colours and you want to save that because you liked it, this is something that I do. I don't know if everybody does, but that's something I do. Don't just save it on Instagram, screenshot it so that you haven't just got it on Instagram, you've got it saved in your photos. If you have some important message that you want to save with details of somebody's email address, for instance, then screenshot it. I now do lots of screenshots to save things as well as saving them on Instagram, so I don't just have it all in one place. And you can even record videos with it's called screen sharing.
Yeah, record your screen, you pull it down and hit that. And just...
So if there's something you want to save, that you particularly want to save, then screen record it is all I can say, so that you don't have everything just on Instagram. But also don't put everything all into one basket, which is Instagram. Start using or use YouTube or use your website. Don't just save and use everything. On Instagram is a big lesson to learn, because Instagram was where I sold most of my paintings, and since, and I was saying this to Pat earlier, I have not sold anything since, because my following has just dwindled now to 700 followers, and so I'm not having that, and I'm having to build it up again. So I've lost the income that I would have had from Instagram. So it's a big loss, isn't it? A big loss.
It's a big loss. The other thing is that it hurts the reputation. Like for me, people that have been contacted that don't know my account has been hacked, are being harassed, are people that are trying to sell them, art with Bitcoin, or, turn them on to Bitcoin, or they're sending people stuff about a new clothing line. Would you like to be notified when my new clothing line comes out? And then asking them for their information so that I can, send them that. And a lot of people, knowing me, are like, yeah, that would be so cool. Absolutely. And then they get ripped, or they're asking for something else, and they can, after a certain point, they can get rude, really rude. And so they think they're talking to me. And so that starts to hurt your reputation. And eventually it gets to the point of all this integrity that you've built up, and these relationships that you've built up. People are just distancing because they're like, I don't know what happened to her. But, and I never knew that there was this side of her. And I've actually had people that thought, a little bit ahead, and asked somebody else, and they said, is Pat usually this pushy? And somebody was like, no, I don't think that's Pat. But not everybody does that. They're just like, okay, all right, now, this might be an altar or something. So it can really hurt your reputation. And then that, I find, also has been a precursor for me not making any more sales, because people are afraid to reach out and do business with me.
It's almost like you've become a black sheep, and I find the same with me. It's, if you've been disabled, you must be a bad person. And I don't know why I was disabled. If I could know, I could explain. And the giveaway is something that is possibly, but I don't know that. And even if it was that, it was an error, and I would have happily accepted a suspension for having done something incorrectly. But I think people just assume that you must be, maybe they think I was collecting followers or paying for followers, which I said I've never done.
Right.
It gives you it tarnishes your name, and for you even worse. And they've stolen your identity. Basically. It's
worse for anybody. It's just a matter of how long you've been at this. I was just at this.
They've stolen your identity, which is it's criminal. Actually, it's just criminal.
Well, it is. And then there's always the case, like, you've been disabled, but with mine, it still looks like it's open and operating. And so they can sell prints. They can, attempt to, I've had people attempt to buy art to see what would happen. And they'll only sell it with cryptocurrency. They said, well, I'll pick the art up and this and that. And they're like, well, no. And it's like, well, where are you? And they know my account. And they're like, oh, you're in New Jersey and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I'm not too far away. I can come and get it. And it's like, no, no, no. And so it really gets complicated. So let's talk a little bit about how you can protect your account by double authentication, and how you can protect it from getting shut down. I think that would be helpful to
Can I
most
just say,
people.
going back to the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency, to me, that is a red flag. As
Yes.
soon as you see anything, which is how I knew that you had been hacked and how I contacted you and said what's happening immediately,
Yeah.
because I had a direct message come through to me. I think
Mhm.
probably the same within
So
hours
a
of
lot
you.
of people, yeah.
And as soon as it said Bitcoin, I thought, this no way is this Pat. So
And they were
that,
posting it all over my page, thanking this Raymond, whoever,
so that's
about,
the big,
for helping me and all this money I was making this way. And like, let's do business. Like I'm
so I,
now going to go from being an artist to a financial planner.
so I think that's a big red flag. As soon as you see Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, watch out would be a first piece of advice, definitely.
Yeah.
But going back to your two-factor authentication, that is critical. Everyone really needs to do that. And if they don't know about it, then yeah, find out about it. And mine had two-factor authentication, by the way. I have always had it, but as I said, mine was disabled. So
Okay, so there's a couple of things that I want to add to this. That, first of all, I can talk you through a little bit. Take these notes in terms of the two-factor authentication. You go up to your screen on your profile page and you press the three lines up there to the right of your screen. And I'm going to try to hold this up. Is this right reading to you guys?
no.
No. Okay, well, it's the opposite, but
You can reverse it, Pat. If you go to the top of if you go to edit and you go to the top of the screen, you've got on crop, you can reverse that and then it will show up correctly on the screen.
I think it'll turn me around to to not be facing me.
Okay.
All right. Well, look, you guys are visual people. You can make the leap. All right. It'll be the opposite side. Let's say this is stage left.
Screenshot. If
These are
everybody
three lines. All right. Press those.
screenshot it, they can turn it around themselves on
Press
their phone.
those. Yeah. Okay. Screenshot this. You're going to see a list of things. All right. I want you to go down to settings.
Privacy, I think, is it?
I don't see privacy there. Yes. Go to settings and then you'll see a list and you'll see privacy. It's the one with the lock on it. And then you press that. Okay. And then it's going to show you another list and you
Sorry,
need to
Pat.
go.
It's not actually. It's settings and then it's security.
Well,
Settings,
security.
and then you have two-factor authentication.
Okay. And follow the prompts for that. All right. And then when you come out of there, see, I thought it was privacy. You go to security. Okay. And after you do your two-factor authentication, come back out. All right. And in that same list, further down the list, okay, is something that says security checkup. Press the security checkup and let Instagram show you how to check your security and see how secure your account is, whether you need to change your password, whether there's leaks anywhere, but they'll show you how to make your account stronger. So make sure that after you do your authentication thing, you go back to security checkup. All right. And let them talk you through a security checkup, and so that there's things that you might not be aware of that you need to do, and they will direct you through that. So the best case scenario is to, be proactive with this and do it ahead of time. Don't wait, because once they've got it, it happens very, very quickly. And my email was changed, my phone number was changed, everything was rerouted. And so even when I was trying to authenticate myself, it was going to the hackers. And so it was never getting to Instagram.
Pat, can I ask you a question? You said at the beginning that you didn't click on the link, you did a screenshot, and that was enough. So because my next advice was to be never click on a link, but obviously the other piece of advice should be never screenshot a link either then.
That's why when you're saying screenshot everything, it's like, well, don't screenshot anything, that, they might ask you, like, oh, you don't have to do this. Just they might say click on it and then screenshot it. But when you screenshot it, that's the final move. They're going to be in. And I don't know how that works at all. The other thing is that you also, in terms of your security, can save your numbers to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is encrypted. Okay, so if you're going to bypass your phone, you're going to bypass your email account, and you're going to have them Instagram send it to WhatsApp. And on WhatsApp, that, like I said, supposedly is encrypted. So if they have your email address and they've rerouted it, if they've taken your phone number and they've rerouted it, and you're still able to get through to Instagram, especially now that I have a new account, I'm having 3-factor authentication, and I'm having it go to several different places, some of which are not even my own, so that I can get messages and I can get codes to get myself back in.
One other thing I wanted to share with you, Pat, which you'll find this interesting as well. I wish I'd known this before, and you'll probably wish you had as well. You can actually save your followers.
This I would really want to know about. So everybody take notes.
Okay, so this is something I researched only this week, because it obviously you wouldn't be able to contact necessarily 75,000 followers, but you could look through your list and maybe find the ones that you particularly wanted to do. And so I discovered that there's a Google Chrome extension called IG Export, and I have written this down. That's the right way? There we go. It's a Google Chrome extension called IG Export. Now, if you have to obviously be on Google Chrome to have this, so you can't do it on Safari or Firefox, I believe. You'd have to go.
So it's not an app?
No, it's an extension. And so you have to be on Google Chrome, and you type in search IG Export, and you download the extension. And for free, you can download 500 of your followers for free. So you can do that now for nothing, which I've done for mine. If you want to download more, you can download up to, I think it was, I wrote this down somewhere. I've lost the piece of paper I wrote it on. I think it was up to 50,000 you can buy. I have written this down somewhere. Where have I written it? Okay. It wasn't very expensive. It was something like $50 for the year, or you could pay for it by the month for, say, $10. And you can download up to 50,000 followers. All it will give you is the name of the follower and their IG name.
Okay.
But it does mean that if you lose your account again, you have got that information that you can then find those followers again, and you would be able to print out a list of their name and their IG account name. which would have been very helpful if I could have found some of the
That
some
that
some of
is
the,
worth
yeah.
gold
So you
right
can
here.
do that now, Pat, because I mean I've only got 700, so I've managed to download 500 of them.
Yeah.
And you can save it as I think it's an Excel sheet. No, it's not an Excel. But anyway, you can save it on your computer. So once you
Does it
download,
it gives you options of how to save it?
yes, it's very simple. It's not technical at
Okay.
all.
So follow the prompts and save it to
So that's it
whatever
again.
platform you have.
IG export. So
Google Chrome
you
extension
can do 500
IG.
for free. So I suggest everyone does that for free,
Okay.
500. And then if you want to preserve more of them, then pay for the extra.
Here's the other thing that I was gonna wanted to have a discussion with, and maybe y'all can think about this, and we can reconnoiter or re-meet again about this. Is when you were saying, like a lot of I mean, probably all of the content that I wrote with my posts, I wrote once, and I wrote it on IG. Because you see, I didn't really nurture a website and stuff because for me, um, operating on a lot of platforms was difficult. I got on Instagram because I was disabled physically, and so it was easier for me to just focus on this one area, and I did, and there was a lot of fruit there, and so I put all my energy into it and all my effort into it, and whether I was posting late at night or early in the morning, I was just posting, and then I was writing and composing right there on the page. So I have none of those captions and stuff. So I don't know whether it's better to actually, and it's just more work to, write your stuff in something like Microsoft Word or something and then post. Because otherwise, you cannot catalog all this stuff because it's gone. It's gone.
Can I say, Pat, that I have always, until recently, I've got lazy recently, but I've always written my captions on my iPhone under notes and then just copied and pasted it into the IG
Wow.
page.
Okay.
So that
All
I
right.
have got that to refer to. The problem is I can't refer to what picture it was with. So I've got the notes of the things I wrote, but where it might say the title of the painting, I don't
And
know
after a
what
while,
painting
it takes a heck of a lot of memory also,
Mm.
and it
Well, no,
depends on if you're working on a computer or you're working on your phone. I mean, I started my whole account, and I would say my first 4 years on my account, Leslie, all I had was an iPhone 4S, a tiny little iPhone 4S. So I didn't have a computer. I didn't have all these other platforms. And then eventually one birthday, I got an iPad and I thought, wow, but again, limited memory and stuff like that. And now I have a computer. But after, but a lot of us, because of the way IG is designed, it's really designed for mobile devices.
mm,
It's not as easy to operate from a computer.
no.
And so that makes it more difficult to save things to desktops and what have you. So, but it's really important to do if you're not, even if you don't back it up and do that, but from here on in, I think.
Actually, the beauty of it is also there's you won't see it because it's back to front, but that's IG posts, it says at the top, and these were my IG posts. If I open one up, let's find one. There, that would have been the post that I wrote and the hashtag that I used. But
And those are in your notes?
In my notes on my iPhone.
Okay.
And it also has my the date that I would have published it as well, so that's also helpful. But what it doesn't have is the photo that it went with.
Right.
So I can't actually tally it up to the thing, but I would have had the notes of captions of what I'd written.
Now with notes now, I think you can include photos.
I think you probably can. It's something I've not looked into, but yeah. And then if you could do that, you could put the photo with it, and then you've got that as well. And then literally, I just copy and paste it into my captions.
Okay. All right. So that's good advice. All right. All these things are really good advice.
Everything I do is on my phone. I take the photos of my work on my phone.
Yes.
My write the notes, and then IG on my phone. Everything is done on the phone. So
Yes,
which you could also do on your iPad, yeah,
understandable.
because you've got notes on the iPad as well.
Okay, so in terms of diversifying also, yes, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You might have a Facebook account. That's good. Keep that up. They're both owned by Meta, but sometimes if your account is disabled like yours, you can go through Facebook and get it back. I know that's how Betty did it, and um, she actually has a YouTube video about how she recovered her account. So you might want to check out Betty Franks, and she has a video, if it's a disabled account, how she recovered it through Facebook, through her Facebook. I think it was her business page. Not exactly sure, but she does a very good job of, talking you through that. So that's something to look into. So those are two platforms. Also, not everybody wants to be on YouTube. Not everybody wants to, not everybody, would like to teach, but not everybody has, the ability to teach. So, that might not be an option, but definitely a website. Definitely a website, and start to develop content that is helpful to people that follow you, where they're going to give you their email address, not to be badgered, but, like with Leslie, if she had perhaps done this through, had sent to the email address that she's been collecting this promotion, she wouldn't have had any problem. So, I haven't been totally diligent of keeping a big email address book, but I think that's very, very important so that you can also reach out to people. And also, that the people that are signing up for your email are very, very targeted, and they really, really are interested in what you do and what you share and what you have to say, and they really want to see it, and they also have the option of opting out. And but basically, it's really important not to abuse that, to protect their email address. And again, that's another level of integrity. But to collect an email list and to get on a website, because my website has been dismantled for forever because I've been so busy on Instagram and selling so much on Instagram that I just had to keep up with the orders and stuff, which wasn't a bad thing, or keep up with if I was running a challenge, just coming on and like encouraging and keeping up with everybody in the challenge and all the questions and all the, DMs and everything. And so, it constantly was put on hold. So don't do that. Definitely take the time to set up a little website as well and to collect emails. Okay, that's important.
We learned the hard way, didn't we, Pat?
Oh, sure. We sure did. We sure did. So what I can say that the good news is, if there is good news, is that for me as a creative, as a painter, in the purest sense of it, I'm once I got over the shock, I realized that I wanted to paint for me for a while. That I was tired. I was getting tired, and because it's been 7 years, and although I love the fraternity that we have here, or sorority, or whatever you want to call it, I was getting tired, and I kind of was forgetting, how I paint. Or when you said you save all that inspiration stuff, like, you want to have a go at different things, but you're not at the mimic stage. You're not interested in mimicking people. And also it gets you also out of, as much as you don't think you're comparing, the comparison thing. It's like, well, they're getting all these likes and I'm not getting any likes. And again, as much as I always said to myself, I wasn't going to pay any attention to that, you get sucked into that hole. And so that has also been really freeing to me too, to just be able to say, you know what, I'm just going to paint what I feel like painting today, and I'm not going to think about, you know, posting it or showing it. And so I can grow creatively. And hopefully what I'm thinking, what's coming out of this is that I want to create more courses. And, you know, I have my Path to Abstraction e-courses, which I do have a link to. And they're good. They're very good foundational courses. I'm very confident of that because it'll help you learn how to paint like you and evaluate your own work. And you know, I taught that for 12 to 15 years live, and so I developed it. But what I want to do is the next generation, and that is me stepping out and going into new territory, and then sharing what I learn with you. So we'll see where that goes. But it's something that I was just juggling so many balls and just trying to make sure that everybody got what they needed all the time, that I really couldn't make new content. And so
It's very easy to become a slave to Instagram, isn't it?
yes, it is. And also it's very easy to become addicted to our phones, like we were saying, just checking. And you know, this isn't a guilt trip or anything, but boy, does it eat up a lot of time. And you know, I've kind of been enjoying, you know, walking outside and giving myself extra time to actually live in reality. So
One, I think you have to take away the positives from the negative,
yes,
which was, it was very soul destroying. It's very, yeah, it knocks you back. But then I thought of the positives. Okay, we'll start a new account. It will be new people. I will be able to hopefully try to eliminate the bots that come on, because I actually watched the other day. I saw somebody follow me, and I looked at the account and I thought, no way is this person interested in my account. He had something like 3 posts and he had 500 followers, and I know that to me is, that doesn't happen.
yeah,
And then they often have the roses or the dog, or that, you know, there's something that shows you that they're not. And I watched his account and I saw him follow. He was literally just following. He followed about 50 people immediately, just follow.
that's
Now,
fishing. He's fishing.
but,
Fishing
but
is
that,
another thing.
but it surely affects your account, because he's a bot. He's someone that's,
Yeah, he's not a bot, but the bots are going to pick that up. Bots are something we can't even, they're electronic, they're computer, all right? So he's not a bot, but what he is he's somebody who's doing what they call phishing. And they see that activity. And he doesn't care if his account gets shut down, because he's hoping to get through to a few people that he might somehow be able to scam and extract money after. And then he'll just go and make another account.
but
And so they,
sorry, it does affect your account, because he's not genuinely following you. He will never like anything. He will never comment on anything.
yes.
He will never save anything. And that affects your algorithm, because you've got all these followers who are not actually truly following you.
Mm-hmm.
So I remove them. I
remove a lot too. I look at them now and I remove them as well. You know, I don't need to have numbers. I just need to have quality. And I also, it's kind of nice now, because it's kind of like it was in the beginning, where I can pretty much keep up with everybody that's involved with my account now. And that I like. And a lot of new people, as you said, a lot of new people, you know, and a lot of people will stay following you, you know, even though they might not see your stuff once in a while, you know, but they're not that active anyway.
Yeah.
So
take, because I've got a nice clean account now, which is new people that genuinely want to follow, and hopefully it will stay like that.
yes. So I hope that you guys have been helped by this, and I'll try to come on again, maybe Friday. I'm not going to promise, but we'll do it. We can do an art project and have fun together, because this is heavy stuff, but it's really important. And what we're going to ask you to do really is to share, share, share. People might not want to hear this whole talk, but even if we can, put in the notes afterward, Leslie, like at what point we share how to authenticate your account, how to
Yeah.
save your followers, things like that. And then you guys share the posts, because it will help everybody. I can't possibly get in touch with all the people that are actually being phished from my account and whose accounts are getting hacked through my old account. Okay. So, and Leslie doesn't know where in the ethers hers is. So we really rely on the community. Don't think you have too small of a following. Every bit helps. We need to reach people and let them know what's going on, how to protect themselves so that it doesn't happen to them. It's like neighborhood watch. Let's do this. Let's
Yeah,
watch the neighborhood.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Pat, for inviting
Thank
me and
you.
helping me to share that information with a few extra people that you've got as well. So it's been good. Thank you.
Yes. And thank you for the research that you've done. And I think you're going to recover your account anyway. All right. We'll see you guys. Thanks for coming on. All right. And if you have questions, put them when this gets saved, put them underneath, and we will do our best to answer them, because I know it can get kind of complex. All right. All right.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Pat.